So, on my community page not that long ago, I asked you guys what albums were carried by the singles, because there's a lot of albums out there that are deemed good that people really only know the singles from and couldn't name a single other song off of them. And I have examples of my own, but before I give you my examples, I am going to go through the examples that you gave me and just kind of react to them and give my 2 cents on them. So let's get it started, shall we? So Chris says early Foo Fighters. Maybe, kinda. I think it's more like once you get to like one by one Foo Fighters to now, a lot of these albums get carried by the singles, but early on I feel like the first 3 Foo Fighters records people love for the sheer fact that from start to finish you can enjoy the whole thing, not just the singles. But since 2002-ish, maybe, I guess these Foo Fighters albums have been carried by singles, because past that, there's not a lot of Foo Fighters records that I would say I would listen to from start to finish. I would still listen to a majority of them, but not from start to finish, for the sheer fact that other than the singles on a lot of these albums, they don't really do much. But the early Foo Fighters records, I can listen to those from start to finish with no problem. So I'm gonna have to respectfully disagree with you, Chris, and say it's the other way around. Then we have Salt and Pepper Freak saying Awake by Skillet. I love the singles, the other songs are meh. And when you look at the album Awake by Skillet, which I remember when this was brand new, this came out in 2009. I mean, the songs Hero, Monster, and Awake and Alive are the 3 singles that come into my head when I think about it. This thing had 7 singles, though I didn't know. But Skillet's one of those bands that kind of became a singles band as the time went on. They just had to make albums along the way. So yeah, I would say that a lot of the Skillet albums kind of around this time is when they started to, you know, just play for the radio rather than make a cohesive album from start to finish. It's not a surprise at all, and people just eat it up because that's what you're told to do. Daniel Simpson says almost anything by the Black Eyed Peas. Yeah, I mean, their first, 2 records, Behind the Front and Bridge the Gap, those are strictly like West Coast hip-hop almost. Like, they're actually really, really good. But when they got to Elefunk and Fergie joined the picture, I guess they realized, oh, we got like a, you know, someone who can be a really good pop star, pop singer in the band. So they started to really, I guess, carry themselves with the singles, and Elefunk was the one that I remember first hearing because of the singles Where's the Love, Shut Up, Hey Mama, and Let's Get It Started, or the alternative title that we're not allowed to say nowadays. Other than that, there's not a lot on here. I do remember, yeah, right here, there's a song, Anxiety, that features Papa Roach, but that one nobody really talks about because, well, it's just weird in general, and it wasn't a single, so nobody really gives that much of a shit about it. And yeah, ever since Elefunk, everything past that has just been, let's see what we can get radio play-wise, and just when we thought in 2018 that they would return to kind of the old hip-hop sound that they did with the Masters of the Sun Volume 1, the last 2 records they have gone back into selling out, doing kind of more of a reggaeton Latin sound, and it's just been god-awful from there. And the last one, 3407, said, not something I usually listen to, but Katy Perry, Teenage Dream. I couldn't name a song off of it that isn't a single, although I listened to the entire thing a couple of times. Yeah, I feel like Katy Perry, even her album before this, One of the Boys, definitely, you know, was playing off of the radio-friendly singles, and of course, Teenage Dream was the one that just blew her up, from the song California Girls, E.T., Firework, title track, Last Friday Night. Like, those are like the highlights from that record when you look back at it. Like, nobody else is going to name anything from that record, and obviously I think she just had that intention. So, you know, I agree with you wholeheartedly 100% that outside of the singles on this thing, what is there to listen to? Not a whole lot, really, but that's kind of what Katy Perry is here for, just to make some great pop songs that you'll hear on the radio every so often. Alright, so those were your choices that you gave to me. Now, I got a couple that I'm going to be giving to you. The first one I'm going to be talking about is Imagine Dragons, Evolve.
What?
This was the 3rd studio album that came from the band, and although it technically only features 3 singles, that being Whatever It Takes, Believer, and Thunder, I feel like, again, outside of those songs on here, nobody really would mention any of the other songs that kind of come on it, it's just like, you know, this is when they kind of started to do the sellout thing. I feel like their first two records, although had singles that people enjoyed, there was also deep cuts off of those records that people can go, yeah, this is a really nice song. But with this, it was definitely a sign of, uh-oh, they're starting to play the formula and it's becoming boring, it's becoming obnoxious, and this was really the start of the downfall for them. Next, we have a twofer from Fall Out Boy, their first two records from the post-hiatus era, that being Save Rock and Roll and American Beauty, American Psycho. I mean, technically, Save Rock and Roll, all of the songs got music videos, but only 4 were ever named singles, that being My Songs Know What You Did in the Dark, Light 'Em Up, The Phoenix, Alone Together, and Young Volcanoes. Those are the songs that carry this record that kind of just isn't necessarily all over the place, but outside of those singles, which are either good or half decent, you don't get a whole lot more from this record. Maybe the title track with Elton John is cool, but a lot of the features fall flat on the other songs, and you don't really get much to talk about. And then when we talk about its follow-up, American Beauty, American Psycho, which basically just sounds like Save Rock and Roll Part 2, in a sense. It's got, you know, unforgettable singles like Centuries, Immortals, American Beauty, American Psycho, Uma Thurman, and Irresistible. And although there are a couple of deep cuts on this thing that I like The Kids Aren't Alright, and even songs like Jetpack Blues are fine, but for the most part, when you ask people about this album to name a song from it, the singles are going to be the first thing that comes to mind. So yeah, there's no doubt that these two albums get carried by the singles that were released for them. And this last one that I'm going to mention that I kind of thought of is one that I think was the actual death of the band, and was surprised that they released another studio album after this. That being Panic at the Disco's Pray for the Wicked. Why do I think that this was the death of the band? Well, because unlike their past 3 records where Brendan Urie started to just kind of slowly take over into a solo project, at least those records had some good things about them from start to finish that you can enjoy, not just the singles. But with Pray for the Wicked, it's got a couple of good songs on it, and that's really about it. Say Amen, Saturday Night, High Hopes are the big ones. You got Hey Look Ma, I Made It, which isn't necessarily one of my favorites, but it was played everywhere because it was a single. And those were the only 3 singles off of this record, but that's because the other 7 songs on here weren't necessarily anything to scoff over and weren't necessarily single worthy. So I feel like this was the record where once we kind of got a feel for what it was, that nobody really cared about Panic at the Disco anymore, even though it hit #1 on the, you know, Billboard charts for, I believe, I want to say like a rock album, because it is a pop rock album technically. Nobody was really enjoying it that much other than maybe some of the critics on here, but everybody would say that this is probably universally their worst record, because at least with its follow-up Viva Las Vengeance, you can say there was good things about it, although a sloppy record as well. It's one that probably never should have been made in the first place, but this one was coming off the heels of the height of the Panic at the Disco kind of push, and we just got tired of it in the end, and it was because of those singles that everybody just was done. So yeah, that is it for me for albums that get carried by the singles. I gave some of your examples, I gave you my examples, and I would like you to tell me in the comments below, for you watching who maybe didn't give me an example, to get me what you think are an album or some albums that are seen as masterpieces but really just get carried by the singles. But other than that, stay safe out there, and I will catch you all in the next one.